career path ahead. So the way you plan and execute is very very important. Others we can't say that I have children, I have to take care of them. What they do. So it is not work. It's a two-way process. Just don't wait for the organization to come and put you. You have to do it.
That initiative should start from we as a women. That's really most important aspect. Now, to just conclude the session before concluding, I just want to know how collaboratively all three sectors, one is corporate, one is academia, and one is NGO, can work together to enhance the inclusivity of these two important sectors. So collective efforts, how we can connect with each other so that it will be more, recognized, appreciated, and included these two sectors in the society, economically, socially, politically. So I just want three to connect together.
Firstly, I would like to say we'd like to join Bosch because I think this is one of the best examples of how a corporate sector, which we don't expect a corporate sector to do, but one of the best examples of how a corporate sector should be. And so I just like to say that if you take me. But at the outset, I would like to say that this is a very difficult terrain of collaboration because the sectors that I work with are not the organized sector. And they are coming from companies that have been long past there in the organized sector, in the formal economy. And I work with 93% of those workers or those people or those communities who are in the informal sector, which basically means that you cannot talk of this work balance, life balance. Which basically means that there is no identity as workers. There's no identity as workers. They're not included in the schedule as workers, which the companies for a long time in the organized sector has finished for that. They have created systems, they have included workers, they have set up very good systems, all that done it. But this is you see, the Bosch or any other company has its work done, production done, from small colors, from small sweatshops, contract work. Okay, so there I see a similarity of collaboration. But otherwise, this is a sector which is totally on its toes almost every day, which doesn't have a distinction between systems, grievance redressal system, worker mechanism, accessibility to any laws. There's not even a single law legislation which is covering all these workers. Then the question of manual scavenging, which is largely there in our country, they are also workers, but they are not considered in the terrain as workers. So this unorganized, informal sector is a complete different sector by itself because of the way it is functioning today. Where there is no identity, there is no systems which we have fought for long. It doesn't come under Industrial Disputes Act, it doesn't come under Factories Act, it doesn't even come under worker compensation. There are accidents happening, there are people who have died inside homes, outside at sites, and yet there is no question of a compensation of a redress. So when that is happening at the broader level, we can only collaborate if we want to collaborate with the unorganized workers and take these issues before the government. Take it at a policy level, take it at the legislation level. If we have people from the corporate sector with us, it is fantastic. That understanding has to develop that this 93% is the basic economy in our country. And this 93% does not have education, does not have recruitment. They are all recruited from the chowks, from the nakas. So what HR are you talking about? What recruitment plans are you talking about? What pay slips are you talking about? What rights are you talking about? So in this whole terrain, it is so difficult. This is a complete island by itself. And it is left like that, purposely. Because then only the massive production in this country will continue to happen. Although we all pay taxes, all our workers pay taxes. and yet they are not still considered as taxpayers. Forget taxpayers, they are not considered as citizens, as worker citizens. So unless this question is solved, this will not go, this cannot go as collaboration. What is going today as collaboration is, which I take for granted, which is happening, is where companies come in the name of CSR. Now, again, this is another picture by itself, because they say corporate social responsibility, but that social responsibility has to be with its workers first, with their own workers, with the company's own workers. Then you go outside, of course, you do something. Because I've had this experience. I've had people from CSR coming, we go to them for funds, they don't listen. But they want to send their volunteers to us. So the volunteers come and they did help us with setting up what we wanted, worker facilitation centers. So that workers have information and accessibility of schemes that are there from the government. So they did come, one corporate did come ahead. But how did they come? Of course, they gave us some help in terms of setting it up. But we wanted volunteers, because we want heart and hands. We don't want money. Money is important. But to carry that money along, we need volunteers. So these volunteers will come on a Saturday. They can only come on a Saturday, Sunday. So we have seen all kinds of volunteers who come there, spend a few hours because they get a mention. They get a mention. The colleges is that. The other day there was something in the paper about how students have evaded these hours by getting fake certificates. And some NGO is giving them. Understand? So this whole atmosphere of corruption and this whole atmosphere of, so I'm not saying that we can't collaborate, but if CSRs or if companies, when the COVID happened, the CSR all took a turn. The money that we were expecting from the government, that is for the kits, we supplied, for the CSR medical camps, for the camps we set up, for the COVID issues, migrants we were sending back home safely. For all this work, there was no help. And then you talk about companies coming in to do CSR, they don't want to do that. They want to do CSR in their area, in their select ways. We want a CSR of a particular kind because we understand the needs of the community. The needs of the community have to come first before you do your CSR. So they are very happy. It's not that people have not done, companies have not done. Their companies have set up government schools, some companies have revolutionized government schools buildings. But government school practice is still not changed. Some companies have revolutionized by having health camps or by having doctor checkups. Or like some companies give us volunteers to do packing for food kits. We have a lot of senior citizen domestic workers who have worked all their lives in homes, right from childhood till they grow to be 50, 60. After that, no one wants them. So like you have adopted child, we have adopted granny initiative. So for that, the companies have come for. See, what I'm trying to say is that it's not charity we want. It is that equal respect. And so when we started the granny initiative, of course there are people willing to give. I will give. But I will not spend my time with that person. I will not spend my time with that lady. I will not try to understand what her life is. I will not listen to her. Because I have given no, I can sleep in the night. So collaboration is important, but collaboration is with mutual respect and understanding of what the needs are, not what you want to do, but what are the needs and how you can build up a program with that. Without understanding the needs, somebody wants to come in and help. It doesn't work because it ends up in not helping everyone. It ends up. I have this example of the NSS. I'll just end it now. Is that when students go in the name of social work, they go, they have you have some program that at least 1 month a year students have to spend. Medical colleges have it a lot, but even our social work colleges have it. So they spend 1 month in the rural areas. Okay, so they send students to the rural areas, which is a very good thing. Let the students understand. The students go to the rural areas. They build roads, they build canals, they help the people. They do all that work. Very good work. in the Punjab. Okay, they come back home and they're very happy that they've done their bit for the country. They're very happy. Next year, the students go back. I take the students back to those same areas and I ask them, just see the situation now. The roads that they built is being used by the landlord in the village. That road goes through his locality. The water that was set up, the canals that were set up, the watershed development that took place is in whose control? Who's getting the benefit of your social work? If we don't try to understand that, and we are very happy with having done something, we have actually helped the rod to get worse. We're actually helping control and power to continue. So please don't do social work anymore. It's better not to do it. Our people will find their own way of getting their rights.
Yes, madam. These are the pain points that normally they are persistent in the society. We have to overcome that mentally and even contributing towards the society. Now, may I just request Lalita ma'am to say a few things about the collaboration of these three sectors?
So, be it whether women or people with disabilities in the organized sector or unorganized sector, the problem is the same, like it is written across. And today, like ma'am was saying, there is no one proper medium to connect all these three channels so that we could collaborate. Like she said, it happens in the different countries. Some corporate want to do in the name of CSR, they will try to collaborate. But then that's not sustainable. They don't do that. It is only for that year somebody has funds. They have to report it in their annual report. They have to go ahead and you tie it to an NGO. So the point there is what I'm saying, the collaboration works, it is sustained and it continues your you are supporting one NGO, that's nice, but support them continuously for the next 2 to 3 decades. So you grow with them, you support them, you mentor them. So today, unfortunately, it is very difficult unless and until there is a mandate from the government which mandates and makes it statutory, right? The collaboration is going to be difficult. I'm sorry to say that.
Yes, these are pain points, madam. Yes. Now, may I know, sir, to just give some insight into this particular aspect?
I appreciate your wish list. Okay, if it happens, it will be great. But already we have started working with NGO in Coimbatore. Of course, they have a state presence. The trust is known as Bumblebee Trust. Bumblebee Trust. And what do they do? They try to take the technology to the tribal schools. Tribal schools, as you know, they are different of everything. So they take the digital technology to the tribal schools. Now we have joined hands with them and we try to create the digital content for the students who are doing their from first standard to fifth standard students. Okay. We try to create the digital content. My students are trying to create the digital content. The digital content will be taken to the tribal students. So that is the way we are getting ourselves associated with NGOs. But corporate NGOs as well as institutions, a trial market agreement, if it happens, it's great. We look for that.
We can wish for that and maybe
Accenture. See, what is your concept of volunteering? What is the concept of volunteering that you can introduce? Accenture has done it wonderfully because they have a good CSR head. She has gone out of the way to create that attitude in all the work people and has organized initiatives which are the concept, which are continuous. They don't lose touch of it. So Accenture has a volunteering program, use a lot of Karna for the visually, for the very impaired. Wonderful program, sign language, learn sign language. There are companies doing it. Depends on how it is.
But we can take the good old business houses like the Tatas and Birlas. For them, CSR is not quite new. They've been doing it for decades to that kind of. Now the government has come out with it and mandate on CSR like 2% of your net profit has to be spent, and these are all falling under CSR, otherwise we cannot fight. That's
But definitely we can move forward with these ideas so that we can connect all the sectors towards a better, inclusivity in the society. Now, one question that is been, some of my colleagues want to ask you, what our students can bring or contribute for inclusivity of these music?
ask them whether they want to. I don't see it coming from them. We people are sitting here and we are sitting there and feeling very uncomfortable, panic themselves.
So let me
Get
open.
out.
Yeah. In that case, let me open the forum for your input and questions from the audience side. Please open up yourself, contribute. Even we would like to hear from the generation next to take forward these kind of challenges and be part of the movement, change movement.
So maybe I will just start with
Please,
that.
ma'am.
The change that the students can bring is it starts with their own family. I had mentioned a couple of times in my conversation today that there is this bias when it comes to hiring people gender related women or people with disabilities. I'm sure your fathers, your mothers are working in big organizations or your uncles and aunts. Please start this, awareness from your family, or you also will have to keep this in your mind. One day you're also going to work in an organization. Don't have this biases, okay? I had one manager in my organization. I had a lot of difficulty, trying to convince him to take women into his department. He didn't want to hire. And incidentally, after 1 or 2 years, there was a normal conversation that was happening between him and me. And I heard him say that his wife is also employed. His daughter had appeared for an interview. She was not considered in some organization because she just got married. And he was talking about it, not even being aware that he is the one person 2 years back didn't want to hire women for the same reason. But when it came to his family, right, he saw this as a problem. He said, I don't know where the industry is heading these days. Just because my daughter got married very recently, she's not getting a job anywhere. So I didn't know whether to, laugh at them or what to do. So and what I'm trying to say, this has to, start from you as an individual, your family members, try and inculcate this so at least the next generation will have a better society.
Actually, see, one concept which is emerging right now is social enterprise. Social enterprise is booming in the country. In the sense, you are doing something back to the society. At the same time, you are taking care of the livelihood right now. One example which comes to my mind immediately. My classmate, one of my classmates called Suman. Suman is hailing from Bangalore. Okay. After leaving her post corporate life, she has started a company called Dia Innovations, DIOA, Dia Innovations. And she employs 13 mentally disabled persons. Mentally disabled persons, and she is in the space of corporate gifting. Corporate gifting. And believe it or not, so many multinational companies are their clients. And all the gifts are designed and manufactured by these mentally disabled people. So, brings in a lot of changes. So, you people can bring in a lot of changes in the society. Wishing you all the best.
Just like to add that there are many young people who have broken from the norm. I had a student who was doing engineering, and he was very skilled. In fact, he brought a domestic violence case to me, and that's how I got to know him. Then I understood he was sensitive to these issues, and he told me one day, I want to be a dancer. Problem is that my parents don't want me. So side by side with his evening classes, he was also going for dance. I mean, he was learning dance and all that. And then he was asking, what should I do? I said, just don't leave your degree. Whatever it is, it's a paper, but it may stand you in good stead if nothing else works. So then he decided that he will do his education, but you never leave dance. Don't leave dance. And he never left dance. He's gone on to become an independent choreographer. And this is what you need for this is total guts, because you're in a society where a degree is important. Of course, a job is important. Some money coming in is important. And today, of course, has gone and more youngsters about point one am I earning or point two am I? Point three am I earning? And they choose the jobs according to that. There's nothing wrong with that. But where are your dreams? What is happening to your dreams? Can you fulfill it in your way independently? Because this boy has gone ahead and done it. Now he's earning it himself through the choreographing events. So he's found his niche. So you just need to know where your niche is. Where is that point which can be a trigger for you, for your comfort, for your dream, for your space in society? Is there any questions?
Yes, I want to participate in the discussion, please.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to all the participants. I have a question. When we did inject with something called as technology, now we all know that technology is playing a very phenomenal role in today's prevailing competitive market. Any domain you pick up, we have technology playing a very vital role. Now my question is, what is the role of technology when it comes to this inclusivity? Is there a role? If that is the case, how do we understand it? Thank you.
Okay, I will go in the direction of the inclusion part. Okay, as corporates, what happens is one of the examples that I can share is how technology plays a role is we have started hiring people with physical disabilities, and one such hiring we are piloting was a person who was visually challenged. Right, we hired last year, and the technology that we tried to inculcate there or bring in was a screen reading software because it's need based. Depending on the kind of challenge that the associate has, we are willing to explore and bring in technology. So this is a very good case which is working pretty well. The person has been here now completed almost a year. It's a good use case for us. So which opens out the arena to hire more and more visually challenged people. So we're piloting in different aspects, and you will see what is very convenient for this particular individual to deliver the organization will need to adapt technology. I can only give you one example because we tried that out.
Just say, I think the minute technology is coming, it has been inclusive, provided that you have access to it. So the most important thing is that, and now we are seeing that certain barriers have been broken down because of Snapchat, Instagram, all the access to whatever technology is possible. So there are no barriers. The technology doesn't know that that person is a Dalit or a Muslim or a minority. Technology doesn't know. So technology encompasses everyone because you are the one using it. So if you have technology in your hands and access to it, then I mean, it is inclusive, or you will use it according to your version of inclusivity. So that is the one take that I have. The other take is, in the case of technology, especially the recent ad that has been introduced, is where my fear is that when technology is misused, misappropriated, and then used for certain sections of society, it's a biggest danger. It doesn't bring in inclusivity, it brings in not only exclusion but also harassment. So if you take I just take 1 minute to say, because the recent cyber crimes that are increasing, and all are through this technology. If when during COVID, sexual harassment was still happening, you don't need to be at the workplace. Okay, so the question is that it's not technology is good or bad, whether technology is inclusive or not. The one is the access to the technology, and the second is who are the people who have control over that technology. Because according to my experience, traffickers have a huge control over this technology. Girls are being trafficked, girls are missing, and we are not. That is why when you ask the first question, what can we do? I would say report every missing girl in your neighborhood. Can you do that? You don't want to do that because then I will get involved. Oh, it didn't happen in my family. Why should I report it? So technology is being misused, is being appropriated by the powerful people, And today we have lakhs of girls caught up in this what is called the dark web. And the dark web is increasingly becoming stronger. It has created another web. The other day, the cybercrime police were talking that now it's so difficult to penetrate through this dark web. Now there is another shadow web that has been created where all kinds of trafficking is going on and we are not able to trace. I had two cases last week. We are not able to trace the web. So technology can be inclusive, but the person is using the technology. Do they want to be inclusive? Do they want to bring about a society where there's inclusion, where there's justice, where there's equality?
Good questions from your end. Is there any question from your end? Yeah. So let me just, have one small,
This is what technology is done. You ask them to go into their mobile and answer questions.
they will be. True. Now, if we see the entire session, it was so insightful. We could able to see what are the pain points. We could able to see what best we can contribute. We can see how best we can connect with each other in order to bring more inclusivity of all the sectors in the society. Now, I would like to just say or contribute my gratitude to Geeta ma'am, Lalita ma'am, and Narayan sir. Because thank you very much for giving a different perspective for me and the entire audience. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Now over to Sojana madam for further course of program.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for all the esteemed panelists for such an engaging and thought-provoking discussion. Your insights have truly enriched this seminar. Thank you so much. On behalf of organizing committee, I take this opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. H.V. Narayan, Ms. Geeta Menon, and Ms. Lalita for taking time out of their busy schedule and gracing us with their knowledge and experience. Thank you so much. I would also like to I would also like to extend our sincere thanks to our respected moderator, Dr. Kagatini Kakri, for steering the discussion so effectively. Thank you. Now, as a token of appreciation, we would like to felicitate our distinguished panelists. May I kindly request our director.
I kindly request our director to felicitate AGV Narayan sir. I request our research coordinator Suprab sir to felicitate Geeta ma'am. Now I request Suprab sir to felicitate Lalita ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for doing the honors.
Let us taking a moment to take a group photo, then we break for lunch.
I request all the organizing committee, student volunteers, all the faculties to come up on the stage for group photo. With that, we conclude this session. We will proceed for lunch now. Lunch is arranged for everyone in the first floor of series Harvard. We will meet again for the technical session post lunch. Just for information, track 1 session will be conducted in here CD Sagar and track 2 session will be conducted simultaneously post lunch in building number 30, gallery number 4, gallery room number 4. I repeat, track 1 session will be conducted in CD Sagar here only and track 2 session simultaneously will be conducted in building number 30, gallery room 4 in In the entrance, it is the left side. Thank you and wish you all the best.
ಸರ್ ಈಗ ಲಂಚ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತವ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಾ ಓಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅದೇ 36 ನಿಮಿಷ ಈಗ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾರು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ